our supporters have put up with a couple of hard years, and it's good to see them with smiles on their faces. That's about where we sit right now. But we, as I've said all the way, we've got a long way to go to get to where we want to get to. We're not going to rest on our laurels now and say the hard work's done, because to get where we want to get to takes a massive amount of more hard work than what we've put in so far. We're training tonight, obviously, so it's a pretty important decision, I think. Around the big picture is that BEAU's a very important player for us, and we want him to play a lot of good footy this year. Whether this week's the right timing is going to be a lot about how he feels tonight, and then making a call on that. I've got a lot of faith in BEAU being able to come in and play well. You know, we saw that last year, the way he rebounded and had such a strong year last year. So, yeah, I'm very confident that when he's in the side, he'll step up to the pace of it very quickly. Brad Shepherd, Pat McGinnity, been in good form. Jacob Brennan's been in really good form. No, they all bring something a little bit different. So we just look at what potential matchups there are for those guys. There's various ways you can go. You can just bring in another tall player and play them in the same position. But they all bring something a little bit different. The types of players you can use. You know, Jack Darling's shown that he can take marks leading up the ground. So I'm sure he can fill the role adequately if we decide to go that way. Well, Callum Wilson's form hasn't been great. He's bounced back in the last 2 weeks, so that's excellent for us. And Mitch Brown's back and ready to go now as well. So we've got a couple of taller players there we can consider. Well, they are still an awesome squad. You know, they've with the loss of Gary Ablett out of their squad, they did show how even their talent is spread. They didn't rely on just one player. Their experience still carries them so strongly, and they've blooded some really exciting young talent this year. So, yeah, I think they've done extremely well. I've really been impressed with how they've gone about it this year. But they've got a very strong back line. That's where they're probably that's probably their most experienced line. They perform really well together. They know the way each other plays, and that's going to be a test for us to score against them for sure. Yeah, he's in good touch, good players, going up through the midfield at times as well as still damaging forward. So, you know, his matchup's always a bit of a challenge, but you know, we've been really pleased with the way our young defenders have been going. So when he's up forward, different players will have him at different times, but when he's on ball, our mids will be prepared for that as well. He certainly, his form says he's ready to go now. We're really pleased with the way he's gone back, and he had that hamstring setback, but he showed with his running ability on the weekend that he mentioned last week that his body was feeling as good as it had all year. So he's in a good position now to push up into the side. So if we do go that way, he's certainly in consideration.
Plays like strike as well, also being consideration too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Ashton Hams is back available this week. He's coming off a hamstring, but he's trained really well and he was in great form going in. So we've got some options to look at. Yeah, well, he's competing with those other guys that I mentioned before. And you know, a lot of our younger backs, have been in really solid form this year. Lewis has worked really hard on the defensive side of his game, really matching up on dangerous forwards and being able to compete with them, because he does get exposed to that at AFL level, and that was an area we thought he had to get better at, and he's worked hard on that this year. The offensive side of his game is really first class with his kicking and ability to run and carry the footy. So he's working on rounding out his package as a footballer, and we've been pleased with his year.